Good evening, Thursday. Welcome to a very special edition of not only the Arsenal Social, but the Arsenal Social slash Extra Time with my good friend Steve. It's coming up right after. Good evening, my friend. How are we doing?
Yes! 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 I'm all right.
Good day.
Hello, mate. How you doing? How are you keeping? Oh my God, it's been so long. I've pent
It
out.
feels like it has been. Like, in theory, it's only been a week, but it doesn't feel like a week. It just feels like stuff in the world is happening, and
Yes.
time seems to be at the same time dragging, but also going very, very fast. But when it comes to discussing football, it does seem a long while. It does seem a long while.
We have madness reigning around us. We've had some sad times with the Queen, my friend. But we've also had, from Arsenal perspective, North London, mate. North effing London. Did we not bring that?
Exactly.
Come on.
And what is there not to be happy about right now? I mean, there is some people out there, believe it or not, as I'm sure we'll come across. But in general speaking, what is there not to be happy about right now? Things on that pitch are going very, very well. And I'm
top of the league, mate. Really top of the league. Come on. And long may it continue. And if it doesn't continue, I don't care. We are still top of the league right now, today.
Exactly. But some would be thinking we ain't got much to talk about because we're in the interlull, or what I like to call the Nation Leagues break, because I don't really understand the Nations League. I can't really take to it. Maybe I will in about 20 years' time if they might establish it. I don't know about you, but international football for me is not what it used to be. I used to love looking forward to the internationals like 15, 20 years ago, but I think they're very diluted nowadays. Tournaments are a different picture, but I think, friendlies, Nations League, even qualifying to an extent is very, very stale nowadays. I just don't enjoy it.
Interesting thing, right? Here's an interesting thing. And I'm sorry, I know we haven't even started. We haven't talked about the wine yet. And look, I'm gonna do the quickest ever one. Right, Jamie O'Hara, I want you on the show. Stop hiding from me. Stop this. Right,
3 minutes, 9 seconds.
Get in
3 minutes, 9 seconds.
You're hiding, Jamie. You're hiding from me, mate. And then we want you on the show. But no, quick one on that. So there's been a lot of vitriol that's gone on. There's a lot of going on. Ben White and this, that, and the other, and this guy should have been there and he shouldn't have been there in his Nations League. I've got a feeling, right? I've got a feeling that Southgate knows his team already. He knows what he's doing, and this team that he's put out for these two, just to see who's going to make it onto the bus.
I think so too.
Generally do.
There's definitely some people who were omitted who you think will definitely go to the World Cup. And there's definitely, I think, a few people on left field who might get involved as well. I mean, he still loves his defenders a bit too much. He still always goes a bit defensive heavy when he picks his squads, which has always miffed me a little bit. But there's a good crop of youngsters as well. If you look at the youngsters, there is some good crops of the youngsters there. And I think that after the last two tournaments who have got to the semi-finals and the final, we've got to then try and build now. This is our last kind of tournament to try and get there and then build for those futures. So don't get it wrong. I want our country to do well. I always will do. But let's talk more about the Arsenal now rather than England.
Let's go.
So I suppose a good place to start as any. And again, just to let everyone else know tonight, we are going to do a little bit of both. So there was no extra time show on Tuesday because of the women's game. So Steve didn't get a chance to do that. So we're going to do a bit of a fusion tonight. And talking about fusion, before we go any further, what is your wine tonight, Steve? What are we drinking?
So our grape of it's a Villa de Uco, Argentinian Malbec. We're going with this evening. And again, going to put a shout out to anybody who wants to sponsor us from a wine perspective. Adam and I will be more than happy to promote your bottles. But yeah, it's an Argentinian Malbec tonight, Matt. And to your health, my friend. To your health.
Exactly. So, spirit of fusion, you've got the red. I've gone for white because I thought that may well be the case. So I've gone for something which is crisp and fruity with fresh cut grass aromas and zesty lemon flavours. which brings me to an I Heart Wines Sauvignon Blanc. Other Sauvignon Blancs are available.
Oh, yeah?
And it's
Look,
very cheeky.
I hate cut grass because I've got 2 very big dogs. So cutting the grass is always a bit of a hit and miss thing for me. But we digress.
We digress. Anyway, I think as good a time to start, a good place to start is talking about our last game on the weekend. Brentford away.
Apparently something went on last season now. I'm not really sure what it was. Sky were very, Sky, I've got to hand it to Sky and respect you because you didn't put any narrative around what happened last season.
Not at all.
Nothing. It's hardly mentioned.
I forgot about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd forgotten about it as well. Apparently, didn't go too well for us because I wouldn't have known because nobody spoke about it, nor did anyone bring it up. Really. No. So if you look at the advertisement, it was about how we were going to get absolutely hammered by Brentford, how we were absolutely going to be caught out, how this whole run that we were having was a total fluke. And that's not me being a bitter and twisted Arsenal fan. That's me looking at the washed out pundits. Jamie O'Hara, again, want you on the show. Stop hiding from me. But what you have is this bunch of old cronies that are sitting there, and you've got Jamie Redknapp there, who's the biggest simpleton anyway. Seriously, simpleton with a pair of Skechers on, who was going on, which I thought was brilliant. At the end of the game, we actually turned around and went, do you know what? They actually played really well. I can't. There's nothing I can actually say on this. They played really well. So I think we emphatically gave them a leathering. We absolutely battered them, and all of again, the one thing, Adam, I know you've been going through the socials. I know we're going to be talking about that later, but it's one thing that as Arsenal fans, right, that we do support the banter, we do support having a bit of fun. We never take it too far. We're not racist. We're not in any way discriminatory. At least the people that I'm around with, like yourself, to see the vitriol that's come out because Gabriel came out and actually said another kickabout in the park.
You mean this?
Yeah, nice kickabout in the park. Seriously. It's all right for Ivan Toney to do that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because he's beaten up, but we're beating down on apparently a lesser team. But if we'd have listened to Sky, Sky, they would have turned around and said that, we were going to be on the back of a kicking and how rubbish we are. I
thought it was ridiculous. I thought I saw it being, I can't remember who, somewhere. I wish I had saved the tweet from the person who was saying all the reasons why this was disrespectful. And I was just thinking, can no one tell this was a tongue-in-cheek remark following what happened last year? Yeah. Obviously, they're not really bitter about last year. It happened. But 13 months have gone by. It was just the way of the club giving a little bit of that. The fact that Tony didn't really get a look in. Do you know what I mean? I just don't understand it. It really done my head in. It's like, come on. But there's no one. When it comes to Arsenal, no one has a sense of humour.
No.
No one. And that annoys me.
There was that Brentford fan who worked out is funny enough a TalkSport presenter was going on about this, that, and having and you're beating down and all this sort of stuff. So when Troy Deeney, so here's the thing, right? Here's one. Remember when Troy Deeney said Arsenal got no cojones, right? And I shan't say what it means in Spanish, but you go look yourself. Troy Deeney came out and said that, right? Took the penalty. I was there. Took the penalty. Peter Cech saved it. We gave him a world of stick. He even came out and said, I deserved it. I deserved that stick. That is what banter's about. That's what actually, take it on the chin. Stop all your rhetoric. Stop your nonsense. Stop your rubbish. We are not interested. Get into the game. It was a masterclass. It was a masterclass in what is a very good team. And don't forget that team gave Man United a good spanking as well. Like a 4-0
That's it. For me, the game's there to win. There's obviously the history from last year. I've got nothing against Brentford. I quite like their club. I quite like the way they go about there. I think their manager seems a decent guy. Great to them. And I don't think Brentford had any problem with that. I don't think them. Even Ivan Toney didn't seem to. Ivan Toney put a little bit of a dig in after, didn't he? But I think, again, that was more tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. It wasn't serious about it. I mean, surely there needs to be more of that in football in today's game rather than kind of jumping on it. Could you imagine if in the 70s and 80s if Twitter was around then? Can you imagine? This would be literally chipping in the iceberg. It would be mental. I just don't get it. But end of the day, we won 3-0.
Yeah.
We played them on the park, and one of my new favourite ex-players, who we had a tweet for, put this out after. I'm loving his stuff, by the way. Nigel de Jong again. Great
love it. Yeah.
He sums it up really well. Great performance by Arsenal today at Brentford, clinching 3 points. That's how you bounce back. That for me is the biggest thing. How we reacted from that defeat.
Yes.
We know we played well against United. We didn't get the result, but we bounced back really well. And again, de Jong, never been the biggest fan, but Xhaka, man of the match for me. Captain's armband doing justice, top of the league, celebrating into the international break. Nigel de Jong, I'm sure he's got if you look back on his tweets, he's got no affiliation to Arsenal. He's very much on the fence, but he can admit when a team's doing well. He's very impartial.
He's got his Man City mates, though. He has got his Man City friends that are now playing ex-Man City. So I can't take it. And actually, got to take that on the chin. That's a really nice comment that come from him. He's had a couple of really good ones there. Unlike Garth Crooks, let's face it.
Garth Crooks. Should we talk about his comment for a minute? I mean,
let's have a little chat before we get into the stats. Right, we're mixing it up. This is a bit of the Adam and Steve fusion.
This is all about the fusion. So Garth Crooks come out with this, didn't he, about Xhaka? I don't like Granit Xhaka. First of all, who cares what you think? Yeah. I find him confrontational, overly aggressive, and altogether irritating. Nevertheless, on his day, he's a very good player. He should have left Arsenal years ago. I don't get where he's coming from. However, for some reason, he has not only stayed at the club, but also occasionally wears the captain's armband. Such is popularity these days. Against Brentford, he looked very impressive, and so did Arsenal. I would like to know why Brentford didn't look up for this game. I think it wasn't that fact, mate. But the Gunners were so good, I'd rather suspect that even if they had, it wouldn't have mattered. Arsenal were that good, most worrying. I like the fact at the end there, most worrying, because he obviously still got that Spurs allegiance. And I don't really understand why he felt the need to go at Xhaka here.
Look, Granit Xhaka, I believe, has been one of the standout players of this season. And I've never, and Adam, you know me well enough now that I've never been his greatest fan. But honestly, the shift in Granit Xhaka, right now, we're 6-7 games in. So we're 7 games in. The guy's got 3 assists. 3 assists. Last season, Granit Xhaka got 2 assists. In fact, for the last 2 or 3 seasons, 2 assists for the whole season. So we're 7 games in. He's always up. In fact, his best season. Hang on a sec. His best season was 2017-2018. We got 7 assists. Right, he's 3 already, and we're not even a third of the way through the season. So his new role, and for oh my god, and Jesus' header. What a ball!
What a ball! Seriously,
from Xhaka. What a ball! What a header!
What people don't realise is Brentford's centre back pairing are tall. They are not a short pairing. They're not like Martin is from Man United. They're tall, and that was a perfect pass. That was an inch perfect pass. Gabriel Jesus is not the tallest. He didn't have to be because that ball was pinpoint. It was amazing. I love that goal. It's one of my favourite goals this season. We've scored some great goals so far.
But Ray, it's not like Ray is a mug either. I mean, he is a good goalie. That guy is a really, really good goalie. And to actually take that and put it across the other side of the goal and put that in, oh my god, who's it? Is it Nee? No, who's the guy on the left? Who's the? In fact, I can tell you in a sec. I can have a look at the formations in a sec. I'm just trying to remember what the guy was. For Brentford, yeah, Ben Mee,
yeah, ex-Burnley.
He was, mate, he was run ragged, absolutely run ragged. I thought he was one of Brentford's best players. Genuinely, one of Brentford's best players. Played exceptionally well. Just couldn't handle Saka. Was just way too much for him. It was all too much. Saka and Jesus absolutely tore him a new one. It was unbelievable to watch. And statistically, when you look at the way that we played and how we went at them, it was absolutely a masterclass from the boys. But as I say, that Xhaka assist was De Bruyne-esque. I'm not saying he's as good. So before everyone starts getting on my case, right? I'm not saying he's De Bruyne, but if Kevin De Bruyne had put a ball in like that, everybody, match of the day would have been moist. But like I'm telling you, it was just a beautiful ball. Amazing. Our amazing striker went in and did it again. And I loved it. And as we were talking about, we were saying last week, Jesus needs to get a goal. He absolutely needed that goal.
Yeah,
that was so special and so important for him.
The thing is, right, people are judging Jesus by his goals, but he gives so much more. Man of the match performance again by Sky, but his movement, he just brings another dimension to our forward line. We were, past couple of seasons, like when we attack, everyone knew where we were going to go. Everyone knew what we were going to do. Odegaard's Saka last year was always going to be that outlet. But with Jesus now, it keeps people guessing. They can't keep a track of him, and it's made such a difference in the way we play. Also, I think we've got to mention for Brentford again is quickly, if anyone doesn't know the words to his song yet, I've got it for you now, just to let you know. So if you do need the words, there it is. If you need a couple of seconds just to read through it, memorize those words, there we go. But again, what a performance. You mentioned just before we went live about, Thomas Frank talking about how good Saliba was again.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
go and play the clip. Go and play the clip. It's like, listen, I'm telling everybody, except for Jamie O'Hara, because I just want you to stop hiding. Come out of hiding. No, it just goes, Saliba. Ooh. It's like this. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's brilliant, isn't it? But you know one thing, right? Again, this is something that I picked up on. We know now, everyone who's watching the show has always seen that I've got a thing for following the players who are legitimately on Facebook. So 10 minutes at half time at the Brentford game, I thought I have a little scroll through, bit of Facebook, bit of that, and I come across this.
Let me see.
William Saliba posted like hello, fire. But this was literally about just after we scored the goal. This was during the game.
Oh man, come on!
Do you know what I mean? He is able to tweet
genius
when he scores.
Has he got them Google glasses on, maybe, or something?
I don't know what's going on, but there was some people reacting to it, and I was going to quickly go through the reactions, So they've obviously he's posted a video as well, so he had the time not only to post, but then also share the link so people can see it again. What a guy! Congratulations, Gunners. We need more goals. Cheers for that, Janie. Come on, lads. We need to get back to winning ways. We can do it. Yes, we can. Best of luck. We love you. Keep up the good work. No one's really cottoning on that the game's happening right now. Until, what a great performance. Frankie gets it. Franklin, I didn't see a phone in your hands while celebrating, or you posted after the match. No. You posted like at half time, mate. So, the game's still going on. Ismaili gets it. So Saliba is updating while playing. This is not Saliba, guys. It's a scam.
I'm not having that. Ishmael, I'm not having that. Don't go Jamie O'Hara on me, mate. That's definitely, he's got to be. That's his, there's a PR guy sitting there doing it.
Jaden says, we went to celebrate while typing. Mad love for the Gunners. Some people are getting it, some people are not. It goes on. Oh, hold on. That's that one. Okay. How come you posted while in action? You are too good.
There we go.
He is multi-talent. Did no one see when he went to the corner flag and went?
Yeah, that was it.
Selfie of himself jumping up, all that.
Yeah, all the old lot.
I like that one. My Che. He's got phones instead of shin pads. Possibly. But then Stones, my lord, has come up with a logical answer. Saliba has his managers for this page. We need to support him. So a bit of sense there. How come playing and posting at the same time? Yeah, exactly. People are seeing through it now, Saliba. This is definitely impersonator. How come while you are on the pitch? They're getting it, I think. They're really getting it. But then Ajima claims, I am a manager. He doesn't know what he's a manager of, but he is a manager.
Well, I think he's managing his next contracts because he's absolutely writing himself into the books of legend right now, isn't he? With 7 games in.
It really is. And again, though, this is just like cracks at the amount, and this goes on and on. This is where I'm going to leave it. But this goes on and on. People actually thinking that some people see through it. Some people are actually thinking that he is actually tweeting or putting this out. It's just like, come on, people. Really?
So let me just sort of throw a little thought out here. So is that Saliba's second goal now? That's his second goal, isn't it, this season? Headed goal. So we're starting to knock in a lot more goals from I'm having a meltdown from set plays. So that's something that we haven't done before. We've got big big, powerful-looking defence now. We're quite tall, we're quite big, we're quite powerful. And Gabriel was obviously he was the highest scoring centre back in the Prem last year, wasn't he? I think it was 4 goals that he got. Saliba's 2 goals in 7.
I know.
So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun between him. So we could have
he's got everything now, hasn't he? He's got everything as a centre back. He's got everything.
Just absolutely.
The decisions to like keep him on loan now is just looking like such a shrewd move. It's unreal. But we'll talk again towards the end of the season. So I think that he's a real star, and people are all realising it now. And now he's obviously, I think that they're saying he could be first choice for the France team going into the World Cup. Based on form, he's got to be really.
He's got to be. Let me just have a quick throw up of the formation here when we start to look at it. And you look at that team. So I was looking at it and I thought Vieira coming in was and I hope Odegaard comes back. So don't get me wrong. You know, I absolutely love Odegaard. One of the standout players for me is Kieran Tierney. I thought he had a blinder of a game. And he has got to be nailed on for North London Derby. Like, I think we genuinely need Tierney playing there. Whilst I love Zinchenko, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. I just think Tierney he was our number 1 choice last season. Now all of a sudden he can't kind of get in the team. I know there was injuries and stuff, and he's feeling his way back in. But for me, Tierney's got to start North London Derby. What do you think, Adam? How do you feel about that?
I think that Zinchenko brings more to the team, i.e., when he plays, because he can move into midfield, he can cover from other bases. But I think Tierney has got the blood and guts, which is probably needed for that North London Derby this time around. And he did have a good game. And I think what he done well was he didn't really stand out, and that's good. You don't want a defender to stand out. You want a defender to literally do their job, not get in the spotlight because they've done well. Nothing got past him. He's not really the attacking force that we had like last year and the year before, because he's got a different role in that team now. Because Martinelli is taking that down his own. But he's gone back to being a defender rather than a wing back. He's gone back to being a traditional left back, and I thought he played very well as well.
Totally agree. The other one that didn't really I'm going to paraphrase this. So Vieira, he just did his job. Like, we didn't hear. I mean, obviously we heard about him. We're going to talk about that wonder strike. But when you look at his ball passing, his capability to have Vieira now, and now I get it. Now I understand, to have him as that a sort of Odegaard replacement or an Odegaard-like player, you know, to give Odegaard a break. Oh, my Lord. And that's the other one that also, I think, from Zinchenko's perspective, he could do that role as well. He could play there. So if we needed Tierney. But some of those passes that Vieira was putting through were worldies. They're absolutely.
The thing I like about him is he's got an electric turn of pace. Like, he literally turns on a sixpence and gets away from defenders. I'm so impressed with that. He's got a very good eye for a pass, and he's good at finding space as well. One thing I did notice is that when he didn't have possession, he didn't always get the ball, but he was always trying to find that space. He was always moving. He never just stood still. And I think that's natural to him. That's a natural thing. Like, sometimes
a little bit of Santi Cazorla about him. Do you not think?
A little bit, yeah. He's he reminded me a bit of Santi, a little bit of Jack Wilshere. How he kind of stays till that last minute before he kind of goes out of tackles, which some people said was one of the reasons why Jack often got injured, because it was that last minute turn of pace. So, you know, that's the kind of things that you remind me. But I'd say, so far when I've seen him, he looks good. You know, he looks good against Zurich. He looks good here. Let's see. You know, he's definitely going to be more of a prominent squad player now. I think he'll probably go back on the bench once Odegaard's back.
Yes.
You know, I think that will happen. But he's an option now in a number of positions, and he's a great option to have. And what a goal! I'm sorry, but what a goal! He didn't. You know, most people would be scared to have a pop from there on their full Premier League debut. The confidence he must have is unreal to do that.
If Haaland had done that, that would have been it. There would have been, like, you know, flags being waved and open top bus parades. And like, I'm not going to knock Haaland because he's been an absolute revelation for the Premiership, I think. But the interesting thing with Vieira, there was an interview that he did recently, And he told me, and the question of his size, I was saying, well, you're a bit skinny. And he said, look, I know the Premier League's a bit more kind of quicker and
Robust,
more robust. Yeah. He said, but I've been this size all my life, and I've been a professional footballer for a very, very long time. I'm used to getting a beating. I'm used to kind of having to go through it. I'm used to having to fight for the ball. I'm used to all of this. He says, it's not new to me. So it was kind of like, stop it, because actually this is what I do. And he proved it. He absolutely proved it. And I just want to show you a quick cheeky stat here.
I love a stat. You know that
little cheeky one that I love. Have a look at that. And it's interesting when you look at the statistics the way it is. From Brentford and the left side, we were saying like Tierney was doing well and all that, blah 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 blah. Martinelli. It's actually Saka. It's actually Saka.
You know what? I did notice Saka was more involved in the game this weekend.
More prevalent, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was from other games. He was, and I think that I don't know why that was. I wouldn't think it was because Odegaard was playing, because Odegaard and Saka usually link up quite well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fact that we switched it up on purpose, because we have been going more down the left up until now. But maybe Arteta's now thought, right, people are now used to us going this way. Now let's go right. I don't know, but it works, whatever it was. But Saka looks a bit sharper, I thought, on Sunday.
I did as well, and so hopefully it's a turning point for him, and he's going to start to get into it a little bit more. But what I found interesting with the whole sort of setup was the massive amount of space that Ivan Toney had. Right, and that was the scary bit for me. Let me just go back.
But they weren't worried about him. That was the problem. They let him, but they weren't overly concerned.
I think so. So what we're seeing here is where Saka and so in between White and Saliba, right, where you had Partey. So Saka wasn't actually dropping back, and there was a ball over the top for Ivan Toney, who, by the way, I think Ivan Toney could do a great job for us.
I agree. I've said that since last season. I think he could.
Well, for me, it was get a season out of the way. Get a season out of the way and see where he fits and how good he is. And actually, I just think Ivan Toney would be absolutely awesome for us, considering that also Jesus is one card away from a one-game ban. And so looking at that, there was a massive space between Saliba and White, and that ball over the top where Toney was trying to come into. Did you see that cheeky little where it looked like Saliba had lost the ball and just kind of flipped around, flipped it around? And what I loved about that, whole piece was all of a sudden there's a change in the way that actually playing out from the back are actually getting better at playing out from the back, and all of a sudden this team, the back four are clicking, and we're starting to play out from the back better, and that confidence for it's just for me.
It's going to grow.
Quite get my head around.
No, I love it.
He's welcome on the show as well, Adam. Just to let you know, he's welcome on the show. Unlike Jamie O'Hara. You're just hiding, O'Hara. You're hiding.
Let him go from it. Let him go. We've got a couple of comments in the chat just quickly. Shane's in the chat. How are we doing tonight, Shane? Good to see you back. Zach has been great on the ball this season. What he does off the ball is more important. Me and Steve were talking about this just off air. The fact that since he's moved into that more advanced role, he's more involved in the game and he's finding the space. And I completely agree. Young players need people like Xhaka in the training grounds. Again, another thing we were saying, it was exactly that. We said a couple of years ago when Xhaka was given that captaincy, perhaps one, he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But also that he's now having that leadership naturally, and he's got those younger players who seem to really react to him. I completely agree with what Shane said there, completely. Colonel Ward's back in the chat. Colonel Ward, I love his questions. He's got another one for us as well. Evening, Colonel. Nice to see you back. Do you think Arsenal still need a club anthem? It's North London Forever doesn't do it for me, considering we're from South London, Plumstead. Do you know what? When I first heard the song, I didn't mind it. I don't, but what we've got to understand is that song wasn't produced as an Arsenal anthem. It was produced by a guy who's from North London, and it's not an actual bad song. Do I think it's a real football anthem? No. I think the best anthems are the ones that just happen. For instance, remember Go West, the Pet Shop Boys, when we won, 1-0 to the Arsenal?
Yeah.
Like that. That was our anthem under George Graham for a few years. That was natural because at the time we kept winning 1-0. It was solid. 1-0 to the Arsenal, that kind of thing just kind of happened. And I think the best anthems are the ones that just happen by chance. I mean, it's probably going to be Tequila now with Saliba in it for about the next 4 years.
I love that one.
I love it too. I can put the words back up if anyone's still not sure.
I'm fine for that. I'm fine for that.
I think we got Rich. I think we got Rich in chat as well. Last one, Rich. Basingstoke forever does.
That was me.
Was that you? Was it? Yeah, I got her. I'm sorry, Steve. I got to admit it does. It does. Loki's in the chat as well. Loki, how we doing, mate? Good to see you. This looks technical. I think he's talking to your map there, Steve. Yeah. So I'm with you, Loki.
I don't think it's that technical myself, but you know, there we go. But it's just
more. But good to have you all. Good to have you all in the chat tonight, boys. Lovely to see you all. But yeah, so I think overall we can say it was a fantastic performance against Brentford. No one can say.
Let me just cover something on that, though, Adam. Let me just show you why it was a good performance. I'm going to show you why it's a good performance.
Go on, you show me.
There you go, mate. There you go. Shots. Our conversion rate at 23%. It was 9% for. It's been around 9%. So all of a sudden that's up. 3 goals, shots. If you look at our attempts, the way we play, absolutely out of this world.
They weren't in it, were they? They weren't
totally
in it.
Dominated them. Totally battered them. And even when they did have their opportunities and chances to actually go against us in that sort of a way, we were absolutely magical. It was just one of the best performances. And as we said before we opened the podcast up, is it a podcast or is it a vlogcast? What I
don't quite know. It's just a blabbering about Arsenal generally, but you know.
Yeah, but it's just chatting. But as we said, I don't want to sound flippant. But it wasn't a cut and thrust game. That it wasn't a cut and thrust game in the way that we dominated and controlled it and strangled that game. And that is what I want to see. That level of performance, that way that we worked. Absolutely, the statistics show it. We're doing so much better. Our conversion rate, and honestly, these are no mugs. This is not a rubbish team. This is not a garbage team. This is not Leicester, yeah, or some team at the bottom that you can bang 6 past, right? This is not a garbage team. This is an absolutely spot on like team, you know, that we played against, and we beat them convincingly,
especially at home. Brentford. Yes. Since they've been in the Premier League, don't get turned over a lot at home. They've been pretty solid. Loki just comes up with a couple more songs there. Freddie's was great. Yeah, Freddie's Lundberg song was immense. Right Christmas, I remember that as well. That was quality. But yeah, I mean, there's also one thing before we move on from Brentford, we haven't talked about this fella. Yeah. Ethan Nwaneri, 15 years old, 181 days.
How must he have felt? Like, honestly, How must he have felt at that moment to put that top on and to walk out and represent the Arsenal? I mean, no, I can't even remember what I was doing at that age. Well,
one thing I'll say straight away is he's 15 years old and 181 days. Not even 15 and a half. He's already got a beard. You know, what are these kids having these days? They've got a little beard going on. Do you know what I mean? What are they feeding these boys on? So, obviously, there's been a bit of a bit of backlash around this, mainly from this fella. Who, Cundy, that's what I'm going to say, Cundy. Will Nwaneri benefit from Davies? So I don't know if you've heard this. We chatted before. Jason Cundy come out on TalkSport and basically had a real pop, not at Ethan Nwaneri, but at Arteta, saying it was all about Arteta's ego, saying it was all about him, that he's able to give the youngest player, and it was taking the pee a little bit to give him 4 minutes. Why didn't he give him 10 or 15 minutes?
Really?
First of all,
who
cares what he says? And I don't know who. TalkSport for me has got worse and worse over the years. I used to listen to it quite a lot about 10 years ago. I used to really like it. There's some real good people back then. But recently, it's just drivel.
Who's the drive time idiot that hates Arsenal?
Durham, Adrian Durham.
Durham, yeah. Like, I mean, a bigger simpleton I haven't come across in my life than that guy. Has no footballing, like what he knows about football, my dog has forgotten. Like, you know, he's just the biggest idiot going. And he's actually... Right.
Arsenal have never put a player on the bench just for the sake of it. Even in the days when we signed Park Ju-young, for commercial reasons or in the moto. They didn't just get on the bench or on the field for that reason. We would only ever play them if they thought they were ready. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of these players were probably bought with commercial things in mind. Let's be honest about it. But we never played them for the sake of playing them. And this guy, he's 15 years old. He would not get a place on the bench if he wasn't ready for it.
No.
Let's be honest. He played in the under-18s at 14 years old. He was playing in the under-18 side at 14 years old, and by all counts, bossing it. So, it's not like, let's just pick any kid out of the thing. It's not. So, I mean, who knows? We haven't seen enough of him, and I haven't seen it. I've not really watched the under-18 side at all, so I can't really say how he looks. But from all accounts, he's supposed to be a special player.
But wasn't it Jack Wilshere that they wanted to go into the England team at 17?
Yeah, exactly.
It was at 17. So Cundy, get off. Whatever it is you're on, just get off it. It's not doing you any good. Back off and tell Jamie O'Hara to stop hiding from me while you're there.
Actually, I'm going to do a shout out. Cundy, get on here.
Come on, Cundy.
Come on, Cundy. We'll call you that. Get you and your mate O'Hara, both of you. We'll have a face-off with me and Steve.
On. Boys, everybody tweet this out to them. Tell them to stop hiding from us. Come and see us. We'll go through it.
If there's any wine retailer who wants to sponsor that event, we'll be bang up for it.
Wine off. A wine off against a whiner. That's what we're going to do. Whiny could get on it.
With Loki, if the lad's good enough, he's old enough. Exactly. Ask gigs footballer. There's a lot of things out there as to say why. From what I've understood, there's been a lot of people sniffing around Nwaneri already. There's been a lot of, obviously, he's not signed pro forms yet. And I think it's a way of Arsenal saying to him, we've got you in mind for the future. You're not going to have to wait around for your opportunity. Let's see where he goes. I mean, I just think that, we've got to embrace this kind of thing. Not just, I guarantee if this was United, if it was Spurs, none of this would have come out.
No, it'll be thought leading and legendary. So Patino isn't much older than him, and he came on and scored a bloody goal.
He's back, by the way. He's back in the black.
Yes, he is. Yeah, thank you. Thank God. He's amazing. Aziz as well. Miguel Aziz was in Portsmouth. Smith Rowe was really young, 16, 17 years old. So can we go away? No, come on.
By the way, before him, it was Harvey Elliott. Is that right? Harvey Elliott was the youngest. I don't remember all this stuff about not being ready for Liverpool when it was Harvey Elliott. Where was that? Anyway. I don't know if you remember, Steve. You did share with me a picture of Ethan when he was a baby. Do you remember that the other day?
I don't remember that one. Yes, that was it. That was it. So I got my hand up.
Last one of trophy. Steve showed me this the other day. It gave me a little chuckle. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't quite think it's accurate, but it made me chuckle nonetheless.
That is class, though. You got a bit.
We got back. Is this you again, or is this Rich? Best Arsenal anthem is over and over and over again. I can't.
No. That's Rich. That's Rich doing that.
That's Rich. My son's in the chat. Tinos, how are we doing, mate? This is my boy, my oldest.
Is he?
Yes, he's my oldest.
Is that the one that does the cocktails?
Yeah, Tinos, where's my cocktail?
Where's my cocktail? Yeah.
Tinos, if you're still in the chat, can you go make me a cocktail? Knock on the door. And you surprise me, boy. You surprise me. It'd be lovely. And it said, hi, DV7. Yep, that's my boy. He's got 20 minutes before bedtime. So if you can make that cocktail quick, that'd be absolutely wonderful. Have we covered Brentford? What do you reckon? Have we done that?
I think so. Look, I've got to say, we beat a great team. It was a great performance by an amazing Arsenal. It's just the whole piece. My only worry is Gabriel Jesus is going to get a card, and we're going to lose him. So Eddie's going to have to step up.
Yeah, I mean, you mean like this, for instance? People are picking up on Gabriel Jesus' cards already. So he's got 4 in 8 games for Arsenal, averaged a yellow card every 10 games for Man City. Again, this is from the Daily Cannon, obviously an Arsenal thing, but this is picked up from other news streams who are really kind of picking up that Arsenal have got a problem because we're competitive. I just think I don't. Obviously, we do play a different football. I do think we get more cards, we get more fouls given against us. It's one of those things. Do I think Jesus is a dirty footballer? No. But what he does do is he gets in defenders' faces. He's not scared. And I embrace that. I think that's great.
And I think it's because he's got a different role. He's just got a different role with us, and yeah, he's putting himself about a bit, and it's going to happen. But here we go.
It's my son again.
That's not. That's straight up rude. That's I'm going to kick you off for that.
Cheeky now. So moving on. Before we move on, there's one thing that I know you want to know, Stephen. I get asked this a lot. I get asked this at least, one time a year. Actually, it's a hot topic. How's Nicolas Pepe doing?
Mate,
everyone wants to know.
I'm feeling a bit low, and I'd like to know what's going on. Really,
well, it's fine. For those of you who are waiting to hear,
I'm missing Nick.
He's okay. He's okay. Just to let everyone know. If anyone's worrying about Nicolas Pepe, he's okay. He had a tough start, but he's okay. Just to let you know. So before we move on, I saw this tweet the other day, and it got me thinking. So I thought, if anyone's still in the chat, I hope people are still in the chat, and obviously me and you, there's this thing I thought we'd have a little bit of a talking point and a bit of a discussion, and it's this. 4 players, you can only renew 2 of their contracts. The other 2 must leave. Obviously, this is fictional, but it got me thinking. Who are you renewing? Martinelli, Saliba, Saka, ESR. 2 out of the 4.
No.
I don't want to lose any of them, but let's have a chat. Let's have a discussion. Come on.
That's the heartbeat. That's the heartbeat of our team.
It really is. It's heartbreaking to think, but I just thought I love sometimes these kind of questions. I mean, it's fictional. I just want to explain, Steve. Me and you and anyone in this chat has no power over this unless you are watching someone at Arsenal. In that case, why are you not involved? Why are you not coming on board? Get on the show. But come on, let's have a think about this. Come on, let's just for 2 minutes. You can only renew based currently as we are right now.
Right now.
Thinking also possibly what we could sell them at right now.
Right.
What I could potentially bring.
My view is we get rid of Mohamed El Neni and Rob Holding, and then we keep. I don't really care. All 4 of those.
I don't know if you need a new prescription, but they're not on there.
I don't care. Like, I will sacrifice them. I will take them out and sacrifice them in the middle of the pitch. I am not that. This is the most ridiculous tweet I've seen. Mate. Ridiculous. Never. Not even in a month of Sundays.
It's a talking point. Oh, it's nice.
Mate, no, it's not a talking point. That's really upset me now. But if I had to do it, genuinely, if I had to do it,
I've already picked my 2. I just want to see what you would go for.
Who would I pick? I would probably have to sell Saka, right, and Emil Smith-Rowe.
I agree. That was my 2 as well. I think at the current place now, Saliba, we've been crying out for someone like him for so long. You do not let him go. I think Martinelli is now coming to that forefront where he's had a great start to the season and he's still young. I think Smith-Rowe, he's struggling to get back in the team. Hopefully we'll see him back. Saka's now, if we had to sell him, it was a good time to sell him. I don't want to sell any of them, but I agree with you. If I had to pick 2 out of the 4, it would be Martinelli and Saliba as well. But it's an interesting discussion, don't you think?
That's a horrible one. Don't do that to me. It's like kicking a puppy. That was like kicking a puppy. I think actually Shane just
Loki's, but Martinelli and Saka, then Saliba. Is that to stay or go? I'm thinking to stay. So he would keep Martinelli and Saka, then Saliba. Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
Let me just
Shane. He did. Do you know what? I thought that as well. I was thinking that the ref had a good game. He didn't make any rash decisions. He didn't really go to VAR much as well. So I think that's good. And Loki's just to reiterate it, has just put stay. Yeah. So
that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
It's a real tough one. It's a real tough one. But yeah, I agree with Shane. I thought the ref had a really good game. And again, like Shane said, it's not often you can say that. But it is quite nice to say that and give refs credit. Although saying that, I can't remember who the ref was. That means he had a good game.
That's good. Yeah, he had a good game. What frightens me for North London Derby, we've got Tierney. I cannot believe we've got that idiot. I just can't believe it.
So, Steve, that is a perfect segue into a couple of things that I want to talk about. The North London Derby. So we've actually got 2 North London Derbies coming up. We've got the women's weekend.
Our Fair Maiden.
Exactly, and then we've got the men's the week after. So two Saturdays in a row. You couldn't script it, really, could you? I mean, I bet Sky are really hating that, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you told me that tonight about Paul Tierney, it literally sends shivers down my spine. Why does he always get involved in our games that matter? I don't get. I'm worried already. He doesn't like us. He doesn't give anything to us. We saw that at United, and we've seen it down the years.
You got to remember though. Yeah, sorry, mate. You've got to remember he's a Mancunian, so he is actually Mancunian.
Yeah, he's from Salford, isn't he? He's from Salford.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy that I hate on Twitter, by the way. We've come up before, which is Breezy Below. He's very negative, by the way, and he put this out here. Arsenal will not beat Spurs. Mark this tweet. Hate to say it, but they look unreal at the moment. He's talking about Spurs. He was the one who was having a bitch about us the other week when we were going 5 games in a row winning. So I don't think we need stuff like this already. And this was just
I do like what Joseph said.
I do. I agree. But don't get me wrong. I think thoughts have moved to that North London derby already, and the fact that it is big already. I mean, it's only 8 games into the season, but I think the fact that we're going well, like we mentioned earlier, Spurs are not necessarily playing well, but they're getting those results.
Yeah.
Yes, they play well against Leicester, but Leicester are an appalling team at the moment. But the worrying thing for me is the fact that Spurs are picking up results, especially wins, and not playing well. And even their fans are not liking the way they're playing, but they're getting results.
Let me, as we said before, let me just say one thing is that the sign of a good team is one that actually wins the scruffy games, the 1-0s.
I agree. I know that's what I like about it.
And they're doing that right now. And I what we'll do is hopefully for next week, mate, I'll do some stats. I'll do a few stats and stuff. And we'll look at Tottenham and the way they're playing at this moment in time. Tottenham's biggest weakness right now is their defence. Like their defence is, and people can score against them.
It's susceptible, yeah.
Yeah, and so what is and look all the stats I've done through the last 7 games. Okay, what is our biggest weapon that we have is our attack. Okay, and so from our perspective, yes, there's going to be violence. Yes, you're going to have Harry Kane rolling around as if he's been shot repeatedly, and Son will be, pretending that his hamstrings are gone. Hello, Neil, mate. So there'll be all of that thing going on, but ultimately, statistically shown that yes, they're a good team, and that Kulusevski is by far their best player. Like they're
I agree.
So they've got a devastating attack, in Son and Kane. Although Kane is starting to lose a little bit of his pace, and I'm going to look at the stats on that. So my view on that is, I genuinely believe that this is, look, let's face it, we tore them apart at the Emirates last season. We absolutely annihilated them, right? And that was because
where the Tottenham get better chance come from, wasn't it?
I believe. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. But I genuinely believe that their defence is susceptible right now. It's not good enough. Emerson Royale is awful. Sanchez or Sancho, whatever his name is.
Sanchez,
yeah, Sanchez is just in the first 15-20 minutes. He's disgraceful. He really is.
Romero's a thug.
Yeah, and so and then you got Dyer as well, which I could never grow tired of slapping that guy's face. But ultimately, that our strength is our attack right now. Is our midfielders are absolutely strong. Partey's fit. We're going to probably have Odegaard back, so we're going to have the best chance ever. And they're coming to the Emirates. The Emirates right now is rocking, right? Absolutely. Our defence looks solid, right? Our defence looks absolutely rock solid. That's not to say they're not going to score, because it's always a high-scoring game. But what Tierney has to do is stop the shenanigans. Right, stop it when Kane rolls around.
I don't think he's strong enough, though. I just don't think he's strong enough, Paul Tierney. I really don't.
I think the crowd are going to be on his back after what he did to us with Man City. The crowd will absolutely be on his back.
Yeah, but is that going to work well for us? I mean, interestingly, what Neil said there. Neil, again, great to see you. Thanks for joining the chat tonight, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Like coming into the North London derby, he hasn't really been playing much for Spurs this year. But conveniently, he gets on form just beforehand, and they were 3 good goals, to be fair. But I do agree, if we can kind of shore up that, if we can get Saliba to do a job on probably Kane, I would say,
It'd be more
Son would generally,
It'd be more Tierney and Kulishevsky. You stop. So if we can stop Kulishevsky and Perisic together, then those guys won't be able to do it. And honestly, Kane for me just is starting to lose his pace, and that's going to get worse and worse and worse. So I think we've got a really good chance. I genuinely think we've got a really, really good chance. We've got a team that we can actually do. And I'm not taking this for granted. I'm looking forward to this game because finally, if we win and we win convincingly, right, and I'm praying to the football gods that we do, the likes of Jason Cundy and everybody else will shut up for once. Yeah. Will shut up, right, and actually give us the respect that we deserve as a football team because we generally have a good football team. And that's the way it is, and it doesn't matter. And people are genuinely scared of us right now.
I agree. They are. Again, Neil, shame Dele Alli no longer plays for them. I agree. I didn't like him at all, both as a player. I think footballer, he looked okay, but now where is he? Turkey somewhere. Nice seeing you. Obviously, Neil, nice seeing you too. Again, Neil, no need to apologise, mate. We know you've been busy, man.
We love you, brother.
There's a space in this show for you whenever you're around. Shane's put an interesting comment back in here, actually. Do you think Edu pulls string on Brazil manager? Do you know what? I think there could be something in that. I think that the way that the three Gabriels are playing, they could be an absolute shoo-in for the World Cup. But I also think that, that could be a factor. Let's give them a little bit of a rest, do us a favour.
Thinking.
I love thinking. I really, really hope that is true. Again, Neil, he was a proper cheat. He was. And thanks very much. We've got Michael in the chat. Michael, how we doing, mate? Good to see you. Great to see you in the chat. Nice to have you. Raise a glass to Michael. How we doing, mate? Michael's got his own show as well. I don't know if anyone's caught up with it, but it's really, really good. Do check it out. And Neil's saying hello to Michael as well.
Michael, do you know Jamie O'Hara? If you do, can you tell him I'm looking for him because he's hiding from me, mate?
While we're on the topic of Spurs, just quickly, I want to talk about everyone's favourite Spurs Twitter.
Solly, please tell me it's Solly.
Yes, it's been a couple of weeks, so I've got a bit of a King Solly omnibus. Sorry about this, but it might have been worth it. So the first thing from King Solly this week, I thought there'll be plenty for next week leading up to the North London derby. Yeah. So I thought I didn't want to have a whole show dedicated to him, although he probably deserves it sometimes. But he's put a few things out. First of all, about Arsenal, only played one competitive team, got smashed 3-1. Make of it what you will. He didn't watch the game, really. Let's just leave it at that.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say that. Wrong, but it's fair. He can say that.
Again, I'm not commenting on what he said. He's not the only one to say that. Let's be honest. Yeah. He also gets confused. I think he might be a bit old school. A bit old school. So he's put, this account is actually so peak. Hope this helps. Is peak good or bad? I think he's not quite down with the Twitter lingo, which is probably going back to his previous comments about why he's only got 190 followers, whereas some 15-year-old in Cincinnati's got about 10,000. But there you go. I'm sure he'll realise it. We move on. This made me laugh. If you look from the top, Pepe equals Uber Eats driver at 30 years old. That made me laugh. And then an Arsenal era. You last won the league a couple of years after the Second World War. Oh! And you won the league only 2 years after 9/11. I don't quite know why he's had to put that, but he felt he did. I mean, I don't quite know the relevance between one war and what happened in 9/11. I felt like he was grasping at straws and was looking at diaries at that time and was thinking, there's got to be something I can come back with. There's got to be something.
He weren't looking at trophy cupboards, that's for sure. Because if he was, it'd be an echo and tumbleweed.
Exactly. And you know what? King Solly's not a Ronaldo lover.
What?
Look at this. Ronaldo's only won 30 trophies. That means he's lost nearly 100. He loses more than he wins. Serial loser, not winner. I love that. I absolutely love it. You know what, right? The logic sticks. The logic actually sticks.
Yeah.
But for him to actually say a serial loser is just brilliant. I mean, Cristiano, have you got anything you want to say to King Solly? I mean, now's the platform. Here it is. That just cracks me up when he goes that. But he didn't just leave it here. He's looking ahead to the North London derby, and he replied to a Fabrizio Romano tweet. Kane is going to slice this guy to pieces in regards to William Saliba. So Saliba had kind of just said, told Sky, I'm at home here. I like London. I like the club. I like everything. I feel at home. Arteta and Eddie wanted to Saliba to stay at all costs this summer, despite interest from many clubs. But Kane is going to slice him to pieces. Not quite sure why King Solly.
No. I think what King Solly meant is Kane is going to roll around and scream like a little baby girl with a skirt on until Tierney gives him a little sort of pacifier and maybe gives him a free kick.
Something like that. King Solly rates Kane like to an extreme level where he puts out things like this. Even based on the stats, Kane is so much better than Haaland. It's scary. So based on those stats, Haaland at 22-year-olds, 2 league titles, 2 domestic cups, 168 goals, 26 Champions League goals. Harry Kane, 0 trophies, 80 goals, 0 goals in the UEFA Champions League. But he still says Kane is so much better than Haaland.
Scary.
Harry Kane, like at that age, still playing on loan at Norwich and Leicester and things like that? I mean,
yeah. Well, didn't they want to sell him? Who was the ex-Chelsea manager that was there? That
Villas-Boas, wasn't it? AVB, Villas-Boas.
Yeah, Villas-Boas. Yeah, wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah, and he only got in because of injuries, and then he just hit the ground running. But yeah, not quite sure. But he even goes to far as to say this: Kane for this City team, 100 goals in all competitions, and he means that in a season. So Haaland's obviously not doing the business, but if you put Kane, I mean, Kane could have gone to City. Obviously, he didn't want him to go then. But,
I think Haaland needs to up his game. He's got serious competition because I trust King Solly. I think he's a great guy.
He does. King Solly doesn't rate our Bukayo Saka though. He really doesn't.
Does he?
No, he doesn't. Look, championship footballer. That's what he thinks of him.
Hang on. So that's because for England goals.
He's based on goals. England players' goals this season.
Saliba, hasn't Saliba scored more goals than It was
Richarlison.
Well, that's that. I've scored more goals than bloody Richarlison. But no, who was it? I can't remember. It's one of our defenders that scored more goals than actually Sancho. I can't remember who it was.
Saliba. Sancho scored. I think Sancho only scored 1 league goal, but I think obviously scored.
That's it. Yeah. No, yeah. Saliba. That's it. Saliba scored more goals than Sancho. So Saka sucks. No, yeah. Championship football.
If you look back on King Solly does not rate Saka at all. You know, and I don't even think it's because he's an Arsenal player. He just doesn't rate him. This made me laugh though. He's replying to a comment from Jacko who says Kane and Son back on form. I ain't scared of the North London derby. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm expecting us to get at least a draw. This kid hasn't supported Spurs long enough. We'll lose 4-0. He knows what's going on. he knows.
Oh, come on. I love him.
He knows exactly what it's like. This is the way that I feel when we play them away. Like when we're at home, I'm pretty comfortable. When we play them away, I'm never confident. Never confident at all.
I want him on the show. Him and O'Hara. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
And just one more from King Solly, which kind of sums the way he feels about us, really.
Yeah. And long may that continue. Long may that continue.
And before we move on from the Spurs, there was something from our new king posted. If you saw that, I think actually it was you who shared me. And there we go. Send the young lad there, the young king to be. Let's see if that is true. God save the king. God save the king.
Yeah,
we've got Spurs to look forward to next week. So let's move on from now. Let's just have a quick look in the chat. See who is in round now. Michael's replied back as well. Agree with Neil. Son is always a danger. Might be a bit controversial, but I would put a fresh and hungry Tommy Yasu in against Son. Not a bad idea. I think Tommy's chomping at the bit now. I think it really is Tommy when he's on that field. He's trying to do so much. It could be the time to get him on board.
I also agree with that, and the reason being is that as it goes back to that Brentford game, there's a massive space in behind him, behind White and Saliba, and I think Tommy Ashley would do a better job. So Tierney and Tommy Ashley would be my choice.
Yeah, I actually think right now I'd go along with that. I think I agree with that as well. Good shout. Neil agrees. Michael said, "Oh yeah, Ahara is running scared. Steve, don't want the over and over again. Smoke. You don't. He's scared.
Message him. Everybody.
This is a call out to
Steve's looking for him.
O'Hara. I tell you what, me and Steve will even come on Talk Sport.
Yes,
we'll put it out there. Okay?
Yeah, O'Hara.
We're scared to come on here. We'll come on Talk Sport.
Yeah.
Loki's had quite a nice comment here. Son is the chicken Fiddler's best player. He is. You can't disagree with it. To be fair,
yeah. By fiddler, we mean someone that actually plays the fiddle. Yeah.
Yeah, like little chickens doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously. Now, there was one bit of insight I wanted to share with you, actually, which is leading up to the Spurs fan. And you might see this as being a bit obvious, but this guy was being... It's from the Ghana Gunner, AFC Faisal, who has come up with the best logic. You cannot argue with it.
I'm following this guy. I've just started following him. He's absolutely brilliant.
He's classic. You cannot argue with that. No, he knows his stuff.
Is he on Sky Sports? He must be. I'm sure he's like one of the pundits on Sky Sports.
The insight is unreal. So, like, what can you do with that? I just saw that. But then, like, this might just seem like, for everyone who's not following him, please do follow him. He's great. And it might seem that he's taking the P and being a bit ironic. He's not. He is being at. And he's right. No one can argue with that. He is bang right. Fantastic.
Straight up math logic right there. That's maths. It's pure maths.
Steve, we actually are at the top of the hour. Have you got anything you want to cover from a statistical point of view before I tell us about the lighter stuff of the week?
Look, I'm looking forward to doing a bit of a deeper analysis on Tuesday on the Tottenham stats. So I really want, more than anything, from a statistics perspective, everybody to go away and enjoy the fact that we are number one, top of the pile, the number one right now. We've got a week or so to go. We've got the international break, the whole lot. The only statistic that is important to any Arsenal fan right now is we are top of the league.
I agree. Completely agree. So let's end, as we always do, with some lighter stories, okay? There's some lighter stories. So, Steve, you sent me something this week about this guy that I had to share. AFC Ray. He's got many followers, as you can see, over 3,500, and he's a great guy. But Ray was in the news this week, and it was because of this. Canby dad saves boy's life on holiday. So Arsenal AFC Ray was on holiday, and he actually saved a lad's life. And I'm not going to read obviously the full story, but he was actually saving a boy of 6 who had actually gone to the bottom of the pool, swallowed a lot of water. He was able to actually go there, give him resuscitation, and bring him back to life. So fair play. I mean, it's lovely if that happened. If any supporter, any person, but I felt he's one of our own. He needs a shout out.
Absolutely.
He seems a lovely guy. He's also from Essex, which is where I'm originally from. He lives on Canby Islands. So it must have been a good holiday getting off Canby in the first place. And fair play. So yeah, Arsenal, AFC Ray, well done, mate.
Well done, mate.
One of the best things I've seen all week. Also, you're probably thinking, what's Mikel been up to during this window? What's he doing? Well, he's been doing a bit of old manual labour. There he is on the phone. Spotted in London. He never stops working though. He's probably on the phone sorting some sort of
British deal. A bit of glazing in the background. That's he's totally special. Can I just say, just on a serious note about Mikel, absolute respect for him, the way he was dressed at the Brentford game, showing respect for our queen, our lady, just absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But that is, mate, that's him. British glazing. Forget Spain. Spain's not. I can say that. My parents are Spanish.
And I love it as well. Like, it's not quite his dapper self, but he still pulls it off. He still pulls it off. I think Neil and Loki here just commenting on AFC Ray, nice one and good lad. Yeah, completely. Yeah. And I want to end tonight's show with one more thing. So it's getting towards Christmas now. Believe it or not, we're nearing October, which sounds crazy. And a lot of people are putting out for their Christmas parties and stuff. But there was one particular football club who put out an advert for their Christmas. So I want to give a shout out to Dundee United. We don't often go north of the border. Christmas at Tannadice. Get into the festive spirit with the return of our Christmas party. Nights across December. You've seen it. You've seen it. Look what you get included for the price of £45 per person. I'm not going to say it.
Pass on that one. I might pass on that one.
You can get a glass of that, plus a 3-course Christmas dinner, entertainment, and a live DJ. I mean, they could have even got DJ mixed up, to be honest. Don't miss out. Don't miss out for that free glass of. I mean, it's a good job it's not a bottle, to be fair, Steve, isn't it? It's a good job it's not a bottle. You know.
Apparently, it's good for the skin. That's all I know.
United, well done. From their official Twitter page. I'm pretty sure their social media manager is no longer there.
As a whole new meaning to let's get a round of shots in, boys.
Hold on, Loki's just put a great comment. No, yeah, I really wouldn't. I can't remember what this was for, Neil, but unlike his counterpart, this was this Mikel? I can't remember what we commented now. The Dundee ones just killed me. So keep an eye out for more Christmas announcements on this channel for all football clubs over land and sea. So it's just past the hour. I think for a fusion, it's gone pretty well. I hope everyone feels the same. Hold on. Loki's got another one. I could have supplied. Oh, Loki, I love your comments. You've got to get on here. They're brilliant.
Loki's just come on for Dundee.
He really has. I mean, that's a whole nother meaning for taking one for the team. That I tell you. Oh.
That's finally got me.
Right,
enough.
Everyone. So listen. Thank you for everyone in the chat. The comments have been absolutely amazing. I hope you've enjoyed the fusion. I'm sure this will not be the last fusion. I'm actually certain it won't be the last fusion.
Love this.
So anyway, we got no Arsenal men's football over the weekend, but we have got the women's game, which I'm sure we can touch on next week. No pun intended. So let's look forward then to the weekend after, the North London derby. Thank you again, Steve. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Mate, absolutely brilliant. Thank you to everybody that's taken their time out of their evening to come and listen to us idiots chat on North London! Once again, I cannot wait. Thanks a lot, guys. Love to everyone. Jamie O'Hara.
Take it easy, everyone.
O'Hara, stop hiding. I'm here. I can see you. I know where you are.
And Cundy. Good night, everyone.